things off with the dollar. So for today we have started off a little bit bearish, but nothing really has mounted much from that. We had a bit of a dip there, but prices looks like it's found support. I think this is the candle that opened up, found support, and we pushed up a little bit. But overall for the dollar, I'm still looking at a bigger retracement. I'm still looking at further upside. I've spoken about areas as such: 105.5, 106.3, 106.2 roughly. I'm looking for the dollar to come back to some of those areas before potentially a big sell. Potentially, I'm wrong. We could, of course, see that move now, but that's kind of the areas I'm interested in, and looking for euro to pull back, pound to pull back before I do look to find any long entries on those, and we'll take a look at those pairs in a moment. But at the moment, we've kind of broken out of this consolidation on the lower time frames, and it looks like we're coming back for a retest of that prior high. So we'll look to see what the DXY can do at that support level. So far, it looks like it's holding just about a few wicks to the downside. Not really much momentum, but we'll see if it picks up the pace, or if it does just melt to the downside. If it does break through, what is this, 103.9, then I'm looking at price, of course, coming back to the low here. But we had a really nice double bottom a couple of weeks back. We'll probably come back and test that support level. So if you do see a strong break of this area, you're probably going to see some more weakness for maybe for the next couple of days or so. And that might be some nice intraday opportunities on some of the USD pairs. But for now, I do think we will find support here, and I'm still looking at another push to the upside there for the dollar. In terms of EURUSD, again, looking at the opposite move, kind of. Euros kind of pull back into pretty much the same spot, but for EURUSD, so as you can see, prior support there, turn resistance. Nice double top back at the highs here. So as you can see, we tested it once there, second time. You see it better in the 4-hour chart. So there's our first test, second test, price broke structure. We didn't break it so impulsively. It was very corrective, so not a good sign, to be honest. But I mean, it's actually a good sign for the buyers, actually. But we have broke structure. Now we're coming back to test it as resistance. So far, not much of a rejection right there. Hourly chart, not really seen much either. So we might kind of move sideways for a little bit, maybe in the afternoons when we pick our direction for the day. But at the moment, the market is still very, very flat. But if we reject this, then again, expecting another push down. I'm personally still looking at buying euro from 106, 106.2 roughly, 106, and also this area here around 105.2, 1.052, sorry. Those two levels look really, really good for some longs. We broke through them for a lot of momentum a few weeks back. Haven't come back for the retest yet, so it's still fresh. So if price does get there, there's a good chance that we do bounce and do see potentially a higher low form and potentially a swing back to the highs, which could be a really nice trade depending on how you get your entry. If you can scale lower, you're looking at a pretty big risk reward back to the swing high if you look to target there, of course. But yeah, the way I see it, EURUSD's had this big kind of reversal pattern. We've gone from looking very bearish to very corrective, kind of consolidating to a degree. Big break to the upside, so the plan is correction and then continuation for euro. And of course, I'm expecting the opposite there for the dollar. But the retracement hasn't been enough for me. I will look to see what we can do at this support level here. So if we come back down there, maybe reject it for a double bottom there, I might look for some entries if things look good. If not, I'll just wait, be patient, and see if price can come back to the areas I am interested in. And in terms of pound USD, pretty much the same idea, which is pullbacks, more buying opportunities. Again, I like the reversal that we've had there for pound. We've gone from a lovely bearish trend, quite a strong one as well, to quite a strong bullish trend. But the key thing is we've broken through that high there, giving us the break of structure. Now I'm expecting more upside there as well. We've left behind some really nice levels here for pound. Prior resistance, really strong break of that. Would be nice if price can come back and retest that, 1.27. I'm also looking at the retest of the high here as well. At the moment, it looks like pound USD just consolidating right now. You've had a big bullish move. I think momentum is just drying out. On the 4-hour chart, it looks like resistance here is holding pretty well. So it does look like to me that pound USD is probably going to see a move to the downside. We've had a few attempts trying to continue back to highs. So back to highs here, 1.30120. You see first test, second test, massive wick, then the third test, and then we've had quite a lot kind of miniature tests on the lower time frames, and prices really respected that level on multiple occasions. So I do think we've got a good chance of rolling over. And then, yeah, hopefully we can find some buys probably next week at this point. It probably will take us at least a week to get back to these prices, unless we see a very bearish pound USD. It's probably going to take us a while to get there. But yeah, I like the longs at the low here. Expecting a lot more upside, and just waiting for us to head back to support, and hopefully find some longs from those areas. Dollar CAD. So yeah, dollar CAD looking bullish this morning, coming off support here. Again, price just has been so stubborn at this level, just not breaking through. I was short on this pair a few weeks back over here, trying to hold through the break of support, but it just wasn't breaking. So I did close the trade a little bit early than I wanted to around here. And yeah, still price holds support. So again, for the dollar CAD, I'm still looking at a big bearish move. We've hit some big levels on the weekly chart, which I do think price can see a bit of downside from. In fairness, it has. Price has come back into this level, and it has seen a bit of downside. I'm just looking for a bit more. And we've got some really strong levels below us, which I think we have a good chance of coming back to retesting as well. But at the moment, can't ignore what price is doing, which is respecting support very well. And I think that probably will give us at least another push back to the high of the range, which is around 1.45. So for dollar CAD, I think more shorter term, I am a bit bullish on this one. I'm still looking for that bigger sell eventually, but going to have to be patient. So either price gets back into resistance and I find some shorts up here, or price suddenly breaks support there and I look for some pullbacks and a retest and some shorts probably on that level there as well. So I am still looking for that sell, but yeah, we're respecting support very well, so I can't be looking to jump the gun just yet, as buyers are holding that price pretty well. Aussie dollar looking pretty bearish this morning. Strong close down the 4-hour chart. I wouldn't say we've cleared support there completely. I'll probably say we're still just about hanging on, although momentum might kind of just spill over and take us to the downside. If we can see probably another strong close in the 4-hour chart like so, then yeah, I would say we've cleared that support level. Next expectation for Aussie dollar will be pushed to 0.62, and then perhaps the support down here at 0.612. But it does look pretty bearish here for Aussie dollar. We've respected that level on the daily/weekly chart very well. Had a couple attempts trying to break through, once over there, second time over there. Didn't really amount to much. Then we kind of had some type of head and shoulder pattern here, if you will, left head, right shoulder, and looks like we're trying to snap through that neckline. So yeah, if Aussie dollar keeps it up, we'll be back at this low at no time, and possibly 0.614, 612 as well. But the way I see it, there's a lot of bearish momentum. Might be some nice break and retest opportunities on the lower time frames to look for. It's still a very choppy pair, really, so I'm not so enthusiastic about finding entries in these prices. If I'm going to enter Aussie dollar, I want it to be slightly higher up so I can get my stop loss above a major high or something like that. But yeah, I do still see price pushing lower. And the USD, kind of a similar situation as well, breaking through support or breaking out that consolidation, if you will. Again, this one having a really tough time trying to break through some levels on the daily and the weekly chart as well. As you can see, very strong rejection, particularly on the weekly. We left behind a couple wicks. I say a couple, quite a lot of wicks to the upside, especially a couple of weeks back with that wick there. So it does look like price is kind of respecting resistance. It might just roll over back into support down here, which is around 0.556. So dropping back to the 4-hour chart, perhaps this breakout will be the catalyst for that swing. And again, lower time frame entries is probably the best way to look at it. On some retest, and again, we'll be expecting price to at least swing its way back to that low there, 0.562. So pretty bearish on NZD USD. Again, I feel like NZD and Aussie are very weak right now. I don't feel like it's USD just being very strong. At the moment, we just had a look at the dollar. It doesn't look particularly strong right now. So it looks like NZD and Aussie are just very, very weak. And I suppose if they keep that up, they will keep falling. Over to gold. Gold, I'm still pretty bullish on, and gold is just absolutely flying. I talked about 3,100 as the next big target for gold. We've already smashed through that, and it's not even midday on Monday yet. So gold is just really just climbing. Difficult to trade this one, to be honest, unless you're just intraday looking for some smaller pullbacks and just buying the dips really on the lower time frames. That's the only way you're finding decent opportunities. If you're looking for a swing, you need to wait for the market to pull back, of course. Next big target, I would say, would be 3,150, which is up here. And of course, you've got 3,200, which is up there as well. But 3,150 is probably the next area I'll look at. There's a nice kind of brief pause here in the market, so maybe we come back to revisit that, perhaps to find some more buyers for potentially another move higher. Of course, you still got the break and retest opportunity on the prior high here too, which would be a nice place to look for an entry as well. But because there's so much momentum, we might not even get all the way back there with gold. I know we're quite stretched, we're quite extended. At some point, there'll be a bigger pullback for gold, but there's no kind of sign of that just yet. So I'll just stick to what price is doing until we start to get some red flags that gold might be looking to have that bigger retracement. And then, of course, you got your silver. I'm still currently sitting in silver. I've trailed stops to break even. We've smashed through that high there on the left. Still looking for a price to at least get back to the swing high there before I do start to close some profits and close some positions. I will probably leave a small position to trail for silver just because it has that potential to break to the upside like gold and just fly as well. And that could be a really big position. So I will look to trail some of my positions, but most of my profit I'll look to secure at the high there, because after all, there is a very solid level of resistance. They give us a very big move to the downside. Even though I expect price to break through, price might respect the level, take my trade out and then have the breakout. So I don't want to be too greedy with that position. I can always look to get back in if price gives me the opportunity to do so. But yeah, still into that position, still very bullish on silver. There was actually a nice opportunity right at the start of this week or right at the end of last week for some entries on the retest of this range here. You can see price, strong push, consolidation, another strong push to the upside. That would be a nice place for an entry. You still might come back to revisit that as well. So if we do come back down, keep an eye on that. That might be a nice trade opportunity later in the day, in the week. But yeah, still expecting further upside for silver.